All right. Yesterday, I talked with Philippe Assouline about sometimes this sort of reflexive criticism of Israel that is not always based in fact. And I received a few emails, which were quite cordial, I must admit, saying, David, can you give an example of what you're talking about, a really specific example of the double standard that exists with regard to Israel? And I have a perfect one. It's not from yesterday, but it's from the last couple of weeks. And what it's about is the double standard with regard to Israeli security policy in the context of what other countries do. So here's the background. I've talked to you many times about the fact that Israel and Egypt share the same concerns, very similar concerns about Gaza and Hamas. And they often employ similar tactics, but the so-called left, the concerning elements of the left that we spoke about on Monday, as described by Richard Dawkins, they really expose their hypocrisy by only criticizing Israel for the same actions that Egypt takes. And this is giving some charity to those people, since they very often don't even know nor care what it is that Egypt is doing, because for them it's just about criticizing Israel. Let's look at one specific element of criticism. A regular talking point in critique of Israel is that they're destroying the Gaza tunnels, which are necessary for Gaza to bring in food. Israel argues that the tunnels are being used to bring in weapons and materials to make weapons, and that's true. The tunnels may also be used to bring in food, but it is absolutely true that the tunnels are being used to bring in weapons and weapons materials. Critics of Israel say that Israel is just imposing the harsh blockade on Gaza for the sake of doing it, and then it has to stop, that the tunnel blocking has to stop, and that all the supplies need to be let in. And critics of Israel will also say that in the process of destroying the tunnels, people's homes are sometimes destroyed, and the Israel haters will say those homes are not destroyed out of necessity. They're destroyed out of a sort of capricious nature to just screw people over for the hell of it. The Egyptian military has been flooding Gaza tunnels used by Palestinian militants and smugglers under the border with Gaza, the Egyptian border with Gaza. It's the latest move by Egypt to do the exact same thing that Israel has been doing. Egypt has also, in the course of flooding and destroying these tunnels, destroyed thousands of homes, evicted families from the border, and this is all sort of to create a new buffer zone. In addition to all of this, Egypt has also instituted checkpoints, the exact same kinds of checkpoints that Israel is routinely lambasted for, the same checkpoints that are an admittedly tragic reality because of the security situation. In fact, since the beginning of this year, the Rafah, Egypt crossing has been closed 251 of the 270 or so days we've had so far of the year. Gazans have been deprived of the ability to travel abroad. You probably haven't heard that, and progressives are mostly silent about it because for them, for some, and I want to be very clear, I'm speaking only of the far left progressives that are hell-bent merely on critiquing Israel, not in really having a conversation, as I am determined to do. They don't really care about what Egypt is doing, even though Egypt has been doing the exact same thing as Israel with regard to the tunnels and with regard to the checkpoints, for the same stated reasons that Israel gives. If indeed the concern is not to slam Israel, but to advocate for what one believes is advocate against what one believes is unfair treatment of Palestinians, we should be advocating for all of the same types of actions to take place in Egypt as in Israel, and you won't see it on any of the typical websites. The regressive left will not. The actual progressive left understands this and absolutely will.